big sound in a small town, far away from the big city lights, making music every night. Good music with all our friends. Tell everybody, tell your mama and them, we're going out and we're getting down. A big sound in a small town. A big sound in a small town. A big sound in a small town. A big sound in a small town.
Hi, and welcome to Big Sound Small Town. I'm your host, Sandy Carlton, and this is a podcast about the lives and stories of the musicians, writers, artists, and their associates that have their roots in the small towns and communities across America. If you like what you hear, tell somebody. Enjoy.
And the living is easy. Fish are jumping and the cotton is high. Your daddy and your mama's looking. She, well, hush now, baby, don't you cry. One of these morning you're gonna rise up singing. Yes, you will. Well, then you'll spread your wings and you'll take to the sky. But until that morning, there is nothing that can harm you, baby. Mommy and Daddy summertime. And the living easy, Lord. Those fish are jumping, the cotton is high. Your daddy and your mama, she's good looking. Well, hush now, baby, don't you cry. Sing it one more time. As one of these morning, you're gonna rise up singing, yes you will. Then you'll spread your wings and you'll take to the sky. But until that morning, Lord, there is nothing that can harm you, baby. Mommy and Daddy standing by. All right, my name is Daniel Sparks. I was born in Polkville, raised in Shelby, a long-legged guitar-picking man.
I hear you. Glad to have you on the show.
Well, I'm happy to be here, buddy.
Well, let me ask you, has music always been in your life?
Well, my first love was basketball, and then I realized I was going to not be tall. I was real short as a child.
Right.
So then I started, my mom, we watched, she was always a fan of like Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
Like that. So we watched the Blues Brothers together.
Oh, yeah, great movie.
And that's what did it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what got me into like music. You know, it was the first time I'd ever seen Ray Charles.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Those guys, James Brown. You know.
Did it at that point? I mean, you got a really fine voice. Did you know it was good at that point?
Honestly, when I first started playing and singing, I was probably 16 years old, and I had a struggle with depression, and I used to like to write.
Right.
Well, I didn't think I wanted people to read my lyrics, but I didn't think doing poetry was cool. I thought that was kind of lame, you know.
Oh,
so I was like, I need to learn how to play an instrument, let people hear these lyrics. So
Right.
I always had so I would go do these open mics at Gardner Webb back in the day at Broad River Coffee Shop.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
met
yeah.
Don Olive and all those
Yeah.
guys who played drums with me for a
Yeah.
while, and but I would go there, and I always had the ability to hit the notes,
Right.
but I couldn't like get there gracefully, you know. So it was just
Right.
kind of shouty.
Right.
Like so, it took probably. I mean, I was a really kind of not a good singer for a long time. It took years. I always say it's not a talent; it's more of a skill. My singing, because if like you know, I wasn't a good singer for a long time.
So you got a mighty fine voice now.
Well, thanks. I feel like I kind of butchered that one, but
I thought you did a really good
a
job.
warm up tune there.
Well, it's early in the morning. You know, people don't realize that it's hard to do this stuff at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, for sure. Just jump out the bat, start
Right.
singing.
Yep, that's kind of a hard chore, but you handle it. I thought you handled it really well.
Well, thanks, man.
So, you know, during this time, you know, did you feel like you were making progress? I mean, could you see it?
Yeah. I didn't really start seeing any progress vocally until I started covering Ray Charles songs. And that's what turned the corner when I was about 19.
You started comparing yourself to Ray.
No, I wish, but I look up to him.
I
I consider him the best male vocalist of all time.
He's a fabulous vocalist.
I've never heard him hit a sour note, you know. So I learned how to play "Drown in My Own Tears" by Ray Charles.
Yeah,
First Ray Charles song I ever learned, and so that kind of like, you know, if you want to sing, I can never sing it like Ray, so there's only room to improve. So I like that about doing Ray Charles and Al Green. That's what got me into soul music. It's like that's when I started to see improvement.
I mean, that's good stuff. I mean, without a doubt. And your voice is pretty well suited to that.
I appreciate it.
You know, it's I don't have a lot of people come through that have their roots there for their singing or their playing. So, you know, that's pretty unusual.
Yeah, around here it seems to be I'm one of the few people that sings old soul music.
Yeah, you are.
Old country.
Yeah.
Like Hank Williams.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't really met other people that have gigged with like Ray Charles and sets and Otis Redding sets.
No.
Cook. I love it, man. I love soul music.
So are you pretty dedicated to being a solo act? I mean.
Not at all.
Okay, so.
Yeah, no, not at all. I'm just looking for the right people.
Right, yeah, well, that's always part of it,
I'm on a bit of
too.
a hiatus right now with gigging. I've kind of gone weird.
Everybody is. I mean.
That's true, too.
I mean, during this time, it's pretty well.
But I don't know if I was even offered a gig at this point. I might not do it, you know. I've done a few things at Dragonfly because it's kind of just like a relaxed environment.
It is a relaxed environment there.
I feel like the next big show I'd like to, because I'm working on a lot of original tunes. I'd like to kind of. I've been doing the same set list for a while. I'd like to kind of switch it up a little, you know.
Yeah, I understand. And it takes you know the songs you know, but then when you decide you're ready to change it up, it takes a while to get the words right, and particularly as a solo performer, you have less room for error than if you're in a band.
100%. And and when you're a solo, like if I'm busking or just doing a solo show, like there's no like, I'm gonna do 4 bars of just strumming.
Right.
Like there's no solo going on. What am I doing? I need to be singing. So
yeah,
I do a lot of these old Fats Domino songs. They're like 2 minutes flat. You know,
that's another thing too. When you're by yourself, you have to have a larger set list than with a band because you can't you can't really extend a song.
Not at all. No solos for sure.
You know, it's let's talk about busking. You just brought that up. So you were like. Well, now these days you're the only busker in town, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I haven't seen anybody in the past 2 years do it.
I hadn't seen
me.
Yeah, I hadn't seen anybody in a while.
I was me and Michael Kimbrell were the first two to do it in years apparently.
Yeah.
Like, you know, no one knew what the laws were in here around or anything.
And I hadn't seen Michael doing it.
Yeah, Michael. I stay in touch with Michael. He's doing okay, but he's not busking.
Yeah. I mean, busking is hard. Let's explain to people how that works for people that don't know.
Well, here's how it works in Shelby, North Carolina.
Okay, that works.
I used to sing sitting in front of Shelby Cafe, watching the tips walk away. That's how it works in Shelby.
That's funny.
But no, you know, honestly though, busking, I love it. The reason I like it is you're getting a rotating cycle of first impressions you get to make. And I for whatever reason, have had this giant chip on my shoulder my whole life, and I guess I'm an only child, so I'm starved for attention.
Right, yeah.
So I love that. Like, because I love when people see you. I love the tips that you get when people come out and they're like, you can tell they're not planning on tipping you. And
right.
They hear you and you impress them, and then they come out their pocket. That's very gratifying.
Oh, yeah.
So I do it for that, you know.
Well, I mean, it is a chance to play at your convenience, and the gig hours are pretty good.
Yeah, they are, and the money can be pretty good sometimes around here.
Well, you know, I'm sure wintertime is tough.
I mean, I met my whole band from singing on the street when I had a 5-piece soul band from 2016 to beginning of 2018, Soul Radio.
Yeah, I remember those guys.
Yeah, I met them. I met Randy, Pedro, and from just singing on the streets.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
You meet some cool people out there. I like getting out in it, you know?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I feel like you're a part of everything, you know?
I agree. So, do you do it in the same place? Are there prime Shelby locations?
Oh yeah, dude. When there was multiple buskers around, there used to be like you'd have to get here early in the morning if you wanted to be at the Shelby Cafe. That was the spot. The second best spot was always Lily Bean. I'm giving up the trade secrets here. Now on Tuesday nights, wood fire grill or whatever
Yeah,
it's called. They
yeah.
do half-price pizzas, so that's a
Oh,
great
a
night
lot
to
of
busk.
people will be there.
Oh man, there's a line, like an hour line, so you got a crowd out there, you know.
Right.
It's a really good.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I that's just a hit and miss deal you had to figure out on your own, right?
Just from years of doing it. Apparently next week, the 10th, I'm gonna be playing for the city up here.
Oh, really?
They're doing a sidewalk. Yeah, she messaged me this morning. I'm gonna be busking on the street. Tricia Woodland, or Tricia, you know,
Yeah,
Tricia Woodland.
yeah.
And so yeah, I guess come check it out April 10th. I'll be on one of these street corners. I'm not sure where.
I will, because I'll be up here for a podcast on
Oh, okay.
April 10th.
I think they're doing like a sidewalk sale or something.
Oh,
I've done a few of them for the city.
Yeah, I saw you over on the Jaybird corner one time.
Oh yeah, okay, that was a while back.
Yeah, that's been a while back.
Yeah, and then last time I did it, I was inside of there's like an antique shop down that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Shelby, man. Look, I mean, I love this town.
It's a good music town. It really is.
A lot of people just hate on Shelby, but I
They do.
love it, man. I think it's
They
great.
do.
I mean, I'm on my fourth second chance in this city, and I still get everybody still shows me love and nice.
I mean, it's a pretty cool little town.
It's getting better too. It's
It is getting better.
getting
I
cool,
agree.
man.
I agree. It is getting better. So, is it harder to do it in the heat of the summer or when it's cold?
I say cold.
Cold's
I
harder.
say the cold's worse. I think it's worse on your guitar too.
Yeah.
The money's better though. If it's like snow on the ground and you're out there,
Oh, yeah.
it makes money.
Oh.
People feel bad for it.
Pity money. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like I don't want to. That's what Michael used to do. He'd get out there in the rain. I'd be like, man, what are you doing? He's like, where money is. I don't know.
Oh man, that's wild.
Yeah, I haven't been busking in a while.
Does anybody ever hassle you or give you trouble?
Nah,
That's cool, man. That's cool.
I wouldn't call it. Nah, nobody really hassles me.
Does I guess law enforcement's good?
Yeah, we got that out of the way real fast. Like when me and Michael first started singing on the streets, like the police would come up to us and like they didn't know the law. Like
Right.
they had to so they finally told us like they had to go back like I don't know how many years it was to find it, but it was like something like as long as we don't block the sidewalk and as long as we don't ask for money, it's
Right.
perfectly legal. So
Right.
as long as we stay in those countries.
Then I guess as long as you wouldn't get loud enough for it to be a noise ordinance. So.
Nah. Michael used to get complaints years ago from somebody that used to live across from the Shelby Cafe when there used to be apartments.
Up there, yeah.
Yeah, he has a very loud voice, and he used to get complaints. Like they used to put the boombox in their window and like crank it up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't like Michael.
Oh yeah, I know Michael's brother too.
Okay, yeah, I know his dad.
He's a drummer, so and he's a good singer too.
I've never heard him sing.
So he's good. So
Yeah, Michael's a good friend of mine.
yeah. So all right. So you want to talk a little bit about your writing and your new stuff, or any of your writing?
Sure, I can.
What kind? What is? Is this going to be R&B, soul? Or?
Nah, not really. Actually, it's I've been making some. I would call it experimental, electronic, psychedelic music for sure.
Oh, too cool.
Yeah, it's totally different than
Totally different
do
than
live.
this.
Yeah. Well, see, I listen to all types of music. Like
Yeah.
I listen to soul music sometimes, but it's not by far. I listen to all types
Right.
of music. You
Yeah.
know.
Man, that's the only way to be
And
as a
I
musician.
really enjoy psychedelic music. I think it's a real art form to make something that sounds like when you're listening to it makes you feel like you're on drugs.
Yeah.
If you're sober, I think you did something. If you hear, if
True.
something sounds real trippy, like so that's what I've been working on.
That's pretty
And
cool.
then I've been writing some fairly uplifting lyrics, because I, felt like I went through some depression for so long. Now
Right.
I'm come on the other end of it.
On
Like
the
I feel
other end of
great. I feel great all the time. So it's changed the way
good.
I write.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it does. I mean, somebody told me one time that once you get happy, your writing changes. You just hope it changes for the better.
For the better.
Because
It's hard to write uplifting. things.
Misery is great to write about.
It's easy.
Happiness is what's hard to write
Very
about.
hard. It's without sounding cheesy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah.
I like
And
to write things that are like uplifting.
yeah.
That's hard to do.
Oh, that is harder. That's harder than writing hardships and bad times. That just kind of flows.
It does, yeah. The blues stuff. like
Yeah.
that just
Oh,
comes right
yeah, it
out.
does. But when you got to write, oh, I'm happy now, that's not as easy as it seems.
It's really not. It's insane my amount of writing. Like over the past few years has just dwindled because of that reason.
Yeah.
Like it's like I'm not sure. Like there's certain like it's kind of. I've always wrote in stanzas, like
Right.
each sentence, like I for whatever reason, like I write in each sentence is like its own thing, and then the next sentence.
Oh yeah.
So, but now it's got even smaller. It's like I'll just write these little, like word combos.
So it really is going back almost to poetry again.
Yeah, it really is. I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
I've kind of
just like word combos.
I've kind of been that way. You know, I've also heard in my life sometimes I'll mess my life up to have something to write about. But I've kind of gotten past that as I've gotten older. But you know, there's probably some truth in that.
Yeah, there is. There really is. And unfortunately, what I've noticed for me personally is when I used to do stuff like that, like I've never been able when shit's going down.
Right.
I have a hard time writing.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like you don't. It's always after the fact.
Well, I think you have to hit the bottom before you can start writing.
Yeah, and there's
you know?
always wiggle room at rock bottom. You know?
Yeah, there is.
Unfortunately.
There is.
There's always some wiggle room there.
And there's wiggle room, and it's usually a lot of times you stay there too a little while before you ever go back up. You know, that's the bad thing, is you can get there and it can take you. It takes longer to get back up than it did to get down.
Oh, 100%.
You know?
100%. It's always easier to destroy something than it is to build something.
I agree, it is.
But
Oh, that's
I
good.
think
like
you know
that.
being at the bottom gives you perspective though. If you're never at the bottom, you don't know what it's like at the top.
True,
You have no
true.
perspective to see. You know, I mean, I'm grateful for all my just wretched years of sadness. Like, because now I look back on that and I can't even relate to the young man I was. You know, being like 32 now, it's like I don't even relate to that guy. Like, it's really refreshing. You know, it's like I have something to compare it to. You know.
Yeah, I spent an angry youth, so you know, once I was no longer angry, it was totally different type of stuff. But I felt better. Maybe my writing wasn't as good, but I felt a lot better.
Well, that's what counts, man.
You
That's
know?
the way I've been looking at things lately. Like all my little shortcomings, they're easy to, you know, just be like, well, you know, at least, you know,
It's
I'm
not
on the
as
right
bad.
track. Yeah, I'm doing
Yeah.
really good. You know, I'm better than I've ever been. You know, I feel like I'm more content. Everything's better.
That's
than,
great.
You know, it's like everything's
Well,
been falling together.
What do you attribute that to?
A few things, man. I mean, for one, it has to be my daughter.
Oh
I got
yeah,
a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
And when she was born, that changed everything.
that does kind of change.
It changed
stuff.
everything.
Yeah, it does.
And so, like, there's a few things, though, you know, a few different things. I've had, you know, just a few near-death experiences, things
Yeah,
like
that'll
that,
do
you
it
know.
too. Yeah, that'll do it too.
I had an existential crisis. I get like I was the type of child, like it was a running joke. Like I never believed in Santa Claus.
Right.
Like I've never, for whatever reason, I've always been like too skeptical for my own good. I can't have a hard time believing in anything.
Yeah, I do
And
understand.
it really bugged me, I guess, as a young man because I was just like, I was adopted at a young age. So I just felt like so out of place.
Right.
And my biological family's very Christian, you know, and
Right.
I was like, I just don't.
Yeah,
I don't
right.
get. I just can't.
I understand.
Couldn't have that faith, you know.
Yeah, I do.
You know, certain personal experience happens where I've developed my own beliefs.
Right.
and
Oh,
faith,
yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
and so
I do.
because I do believe if you don't believe in nothing, you'll fall for anything. You know.
Yeah, I do. I mean,
you ought to just believe in yourself, if nothing else.
I agree.
Which that's the hardest thing to do sometimes, believe in yourself.
Oh, it is. It is.
'Cause I can be a low, rotten, dirty dog sometimes. You know what I mean?
I do. Oh yeah, I do. Trust me. So you got a time frame when you're gonna put some of this stuff out?
I dropped a little demo track on YouTube. I got it out right now. I made a little music video for it. It's just like an animated music video.
You like a trailer for it?
It's the whole song.
Oh, it's the whole song.
Yeah, my daughter's playing the bells on it. And,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but it's just okay. But
You
I
know-
got a bunch of stuff coming out.
You know,
soon.
it's kind of a single industry again. You know,
Yeah, I guess it is.
People come out, you know, rather than put. Here's how it's been explained to me lately. Okay, if I put out a whole project like a CD, I got say 10, 12 songs. Well, there it is. You know, and you got, you know, it's all out at one time. And it's either, you know,
Do or die.
Do or
Yeah,
die.
it's over then.
But if you release them, you know, one at a time, you can extend the listening time of people for.
100%.
You know-
One of my favorite bands, Bon Iver, that's what he does. He'll release
Yeah.
singles off the whole album, and then but every single is a track on the album, but
Right.
every single has its own lyric video.
Sure.
So you also get the lyrics and.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like so smart. Like that's the way to
cool.
do it, man.
It is. Bill, it's a new age, and the people people are learning what it takes to survive in it, you know. I mean, and musicians are learning that. When I grew up, it was a 45 industry, you know. People bought the little 45s, but it's that way again.
It's
now.
going back to the singles,
Yeah, going
MP3
back to the
singles.
singles. So, you know, it's cool too because the big money to make records is not there anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a little bit easier to poke along, do a song here and do a song there, and it might be easier for me to talk some people to come over and play on a single for me than to put in enough time to play for a whole seat.
Yeah.
So, you know.
100%. And see, I've been doing all my stuff myself. Like I just bought a Casio 88 key weighted piano. This thing's nice, man.
Oh yeah, those are nice.
I got me one, and
The keys are weighted.
yeah,
that's
hammer action.
Yeah, that's just like a real piano.
I can play like I know all my triads. I know where all my notes are.
Right.
But all I need to do is just practice and learn how to play rhythmically or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So it's not just like dun dun. But anyway, so I've been doing all the parts myself. Like I got a little electric guitar and I got my synthesizer and stuff, and it's got all these different effects.
That's cool.
See, I've been toying with this idea. Speaking of singles, I've never heard anybody else do this, but like, cause the music I've been making is so varied.
Right.
I have one song that's like, it's a whole own universe of sound, and then this next song's like a beachy sounding song with guitars and bongos, you know. And then there's and if I feel like it, I'll write a country song, you know what I mean? If I'm feeling like it. So this was my idea, like have an umbrella name for the band, or the project, which is which I've been thinking Psychic Animals.
Right.
Because
that's cool.
That's actually not a band name. I looked it up. But anyway, have each song be its own band and song. So that frees me up creatively to do kind of like, you know, if I write a country song, I have a country song band alias, and then if I want to write, you know, a few country songs, it'd be by that band, and then you know, that'd be a way to kind of give myself some freedom. And it would look impressive to somebody that didn't know. They'd be like, "Oh, this is all the same guy. That's pretty cool."
Yeah, it is.
But I have a hard time setting boundaries creatively for music. So like when I sit down to make music, it's like things just flood in.
You don't know,
too many ideas. So I don't try to like say, well, I'm only going to use these sounds to make this type of song. I'm like, if I think it sounds good, I'm just going to record it. Record
it that way,
and not worry about.
Mine goes in blocks too. I'm creative in a block, and then it's almost like it just vanishes on me.
Me too.
I can't even I can't force it. I mean, I've tried to force it. It's either there or it's not.
It really is.
And I can't do it on command either, you know. I mean, there's stretches sometimes, but then there's sometimes where it floods. So, you know, it's one of those.
It's that old muse, man.
It is.
They're fickle sometimes.
They really are.
Some people can really channel it.
Yeah.
Some people, it seems like they're like one with their muse.
Sure.
You know,
and there are people.
Some musicians, like a lot of the time they're pretty famous musicians.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, take Bob Dylan.
There we go. That's one.
Bob, you know, you think it's simple, you think it's the same thing, but it's really not. And he keeps recreating it. I mean,
you should check out Jacob Collier.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
That young man's been blowing my mind lately.
Yep, I do know who that is.
He's insanely talented.
There's some insanely talented people out there.
There really is. He was the type of guy, when I first found his music, I was like mad. I was like, man, like, the hell with this guy, you know? Like, I can't keep up with this. And then I realized, like, I just need to get better, because I realized, like, if I was even, like, I can play a little, few instruments.
Right.
But if I was to jam with somebody like that, I'd look like a fool.
Oh yeah, those guys are.
Like,
those
it just made me
guys
determine
like
it. Like,
sure.
I just practice a little more, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there's some people that's just like that.
Born with it.
Born with it. Born with an abundance of.
Yeah, lucky dog.
Yeah, there are. There are people like that. I've known some of those. They're few and far between though when they're like that.
Yeah. I went to school with this guy. He was this big buff guy. I can't remember his name to save my life. But he picked up the guitar and could just shred. Never play. Like, it was just like, you know, some people can just do it. And but I guess since it came so easy to him that he just didn't really care. He didn't care.
I've known people like that too.
That to me, physiologically, is mind blowing. How can someone know how to do something like that?
I don't know.
It really begs the argument of past lives or something. You know?
Yeah, I could see it. You know, because I know a lot of good musicians, but most of the good musicians I know spend a lot of time learning their craft.
Yeah, I mean you never stop learning. You know, most musicians are always learning.
But then you have those that could come in here and pick that up or that up, and sound like a $10,000 instrument and play it and then they'll get through and they'll say, well, I don't really play banjo.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, go on, man, just go on. Don't even tell me that.
Yeah, some people are like that, man.
They are.
I'm jealous of people like that.
Another thing too, it's hard though. You're kind of blessed with the voice, and those things that's a trick. That's a trick too. I mean, if you don't really have it, you don't really have it. And
That's true. I mean, I've always
you can improve it.
sing.
You can improve it, but the quality of it, you can make it sound better. But it's hard to get it to. If you don't really have it, you don't really have it.
Yeah, I know some people that just have like grating voices.
Yeah,
to begin
yeah.
with, so it's like, you know.
But then I know some people that don't really have that good of voices, but they're really good at entertaining and really good at picking songs that will work for. Well, Bob Dylan is one.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
Very engaging.
Tom Waits. I don't know if you know who Tom Waits.
But strings on a dumpster, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Tom Waits makes it work. You know, he's entertaining. The songs are great. You know, but you know, it's all a music form.
Yeah, I'm hung up on this virtuoso thing. It would make more sense to me if, like, the piano or if like an instrument is an extension of your physical body, but it's not like it's something that doesn't make any sense that you would come out of the womb knowing how to play something that's not a part of your body.
Right.
How does that make sense?
It doesn't.
It blows my mind. I wonder what science says about it. I wonder if they have like any kind of definitive answers. Science.
I'm sure somewhere in a lab there's somebody been working on that for years.
Well, they got that gene editing stuff now, you know, where they can edit genes. You can have like pick your baby's eye color and hair color and genetic dispositions.
I'd pick a singing voice, you know, and musical ability. It's funny too. This is funny. At one point in my life, I had perfect pitch, but as I've gotten older, I don't have it anymore.
Really?
There's certain notes that escape me now. E's and C's.
That's interesting.
So I struggle with these, distinguish between E and C a little bit as I get older. But
I've always been able to like sing along to like find the note of the ceiling fan or like or like I can hum along with a car, you know. Yeah. But I couldn't tell you what note it was. I can tell things. For a long time, it drove me crazy, but I could tell you the weed eater key. Oh, yeah. You know? See, I can hum to it, but I couldn't tell you what key it was.
Right, I could tell you the key.
That's great.
You know, I couldn't probably replicate it with my voice, but I could tell you the key it was in. Well, you know, harmony is another thing that people seem to either know it or don't.
Yes.
I mean,
I don't. I'm horrible at harmony.
As long as I can hear. If I have good monitors, if it were you and me sitting here, no outside interference, I'm good. But if I can't hear, I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
But I know. I've played with people that could walk up, never sang with you before, sing good harmony to you.
My aunt's like that. My aunt was the one that taught me how to play guitar. Carla Bibbins, my mom's sister, and she gave me this old, not that one, but it was an old guitar, and she wrote down G, C, and D on a piece of paper, and she was like, if you want to learn, you'll learn those, and then, and man, I did. I learned. That was all. I didn't ask for no more chords. I figured it out all on my own from then on out. And but anyway, she only sings harmony. Like if she's singing lead, it's in harmony. She can't. I don't know if she's not sing harmony. You know.
I know some people that are really good harmony singers that aren't that great singers on their own. But boy, can they make anybody they sing with sound better.
That's like my aunt, yeah. She can just like harmonize with anybody.
That's a special skill.
It is. I have a hard time harmonizing.
I mean,
I can go an octave below you or above you.
Right.
And I mean, that isn't technically harmony though, you know.
Right. Yeah, that's not, you know.
Yeah. So I mean, I have a hard time finding any harmonic notes.
Getting the thirds or the fifths.
Yeah, that's hard.
It gets kind of hard. But there's people that
I've never practiced either.
Yeah, and it is something you can learn to do with practice. But there's people that just can hear that note. Mm-hmm. Kevin Bridges that I play with. Kevin.
Oh, I knew Kevin.
Yeah.
You played with Kevin?
Yeah, I played with Kevin.
From Cleveco, right?
Yeah.
Okay, did you play, Soul Radio opened for y'all one time at the Bird's Nest.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you want to hear there's a crazy story behind that show, man. All right, so look.
It's crazy on my end too because my bass went out.
Oh. Dude, so we had never been there, you know, and we had like, the man that run the place was like, all right, because I was like, how long do we do? What kind of music you want? And he was like, you can do one or two covers, but we want it was like 45-minute set. We want original music.
Right.
Well, at that point, we had no original music, not one song.
Right.
So it's like the week before, and I wrote 45 minutes worth of original songs. And
Really?
we sung them on that stage. Yep. I still remember. I only remember one song from that set because I wrote a whole 45 minutes.
Set.
They were not good songs.
Right, but
I had to do it. You know what I mean?
had to do it. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember. It went pretty rough. Like
Yeah, for some reason, I had technical difficulties that night too. I used a Hofner Beetle bass, and that guitar was always problematic, but it sounded pretty good. But it just quit working that night. It's like a ghost, like it had a ghost in it,
Did you have a backup?
No.
Oh no. I feel like I remember that.
I just played harmonicas. What I did the rest of the night.
I feel like I remember that. That's a cool venue.
It was a cool.
That's the only time I've been back since. Before.
It's not there anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
That was a swaggy little place.
Oh, it was pretty good. It could have been a really good place.
Yeah, man, I remember that though. I remember I had to write all them songs.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, I wrote them all the week before, and then the one I wrote in the shower the morning of, and that's the one I still remember.
That's funny how you do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I got songs I'll see somebody somewhere, and they'll say, can you play it? And I think I barely remember writing it.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I remember writing that song, but I hadn't played that thing in like 10 years.
I'm the same way.
And at that point, I just really didn't ever think it was a worthy thing to come back to look at. So.
I'm the same way. Like with my older stuff, it was so angsty and depressing.
Yeah.
Like I've left it alone for that reason.
Yeah.
And they were extremely complicated songs, so I just kind of forgot how to play them.
Yeah.
People come up to me with covers though, and they're like, "Hey man, you want to play that?" They're like, "We've heard you play it 100 times." I'm like, "Ah."
Yeah, I have, but I don't anymore.
I forgot more than I know.
Oh yeah. Once I quit them,
they're done. Yeah.
They're done. I've been back doing more stuff by myself because we hadn't played since the COVID came, and it's like, I can't even remember the words to my own songs anymore because I'm not doing them.
Yeah. That's what it is, man. If you don't do something, it goes away.
It does go away.
It really.
But
does.
then I can remember the words from a song that I learned 40 years ago. But yet I can't remember one that I wrote 3 years ago.
It's weird how that works. It's there's certain things that in your memory that like you'll associate something with it. So
I guess.
They say you only remember 15% of everything you do and encounter anyway.
That's probably about right for me.
That's it for everybody because your brain. I guess that's what they say. The theory is like what your dreams do is like it sorts out all that 80%.
Right.
I don't know though.
I don't know either. I'm pretty old now, but my memory is still pretty good. As long as I don't have to learn anything new. Stuff that's already happened, I'm okay with. Learning new stuff,
my memory's terrible.
I'm
good at learning new stuff. My memory, I'm bad at retaining. Like I forget. Like I've worked like jobs for like years, like in the past. Like I've done like sprinkler systems.
Right.
I did it for like 2 years, but if I was to go right now, and I would be like a newbie. Like I barely remember what to do.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at the past stuff, but when
I'm terrible.
I'm pretty slow at learning new stuff now, which is kind of
probably comes with age, I guess.
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, I'm 70, so
Oh, you're 70. You look good for 70.
Thanks.
You might know my mom, Sandra Sparks.
Yeah,
Kenneth Sparks. That's my mom and dad.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that's my mom and dad. Carla Bivens, Ricky Bivens, that's her sister and husband. Denise Hogan, Dennis Hogan, that's her other sister.
Yeah, I don't know them, but
they're a little younger though. They're the youngest sisters. So.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
so you did grow up here.
Mm-hmm. My whole life.
That is.
Yeah, I'm Sparks and Pokeful.
If you grew up here and you like this town still, that's a great thing.
Yeah, I know. Most people hate it.
Yeah,
I love Shelby, man.
That grew up here, they do.
There's nothing to me like going and when it's Christmas and seeing these pitiful little lights that they have up here. But there's so much to me. It's like home. Like every year, it's like
Yeah. I agree. I
love this town. I mean, so much of my young teenage years was spent just like haunting the alleyways.
Well, I've lived
trying
here
to climb on top of these buildings and stuff.
A long time now, but
where are you from originally?
All over. We moved when I was a kid everywhere. Okay. So, it's one of those deals where, name it, I probably lived there, particularly if it was a dump. But it's Shelby's good to me. It's been a good place for me, so I have no complaints.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good city, man.
What else we need to know, Daniel?
I guess just subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Tell
it's
everybody
just
how
Daniel
to do that.
Sparks on YouTube. There's only like one video right now. The song's Llama.
Okay.
There'll be more stuff coming soon. I'm
Right.
still just working on a bunch of stuff.
Cool.
Uh,
Can they get in touch with you if they need you to play a job somewhere?
yeah, I'm on Facebook.
There you go.
Daniel Sparks. You can get me on Facebook.
All right. That's good. That's really good. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to do this,
Sure,
man. This
buddy.
was really cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed this. This
All
went
right.
by fast.
All right. Yeah, it does.
Heck yeah, man.
Thank you.
Cool, bud. My mother told me before she passed away, she said, son, when I'm gone, don't forget to pray, there'll be hard times. Hard times. Oh yeah. Who knows better than I soon found out just what she meant. On my clothes, Lord, just to pay my rent. Talking about hard times, hard times. Oh yeah. Who knows better than lost my money, she put me down, talking about hard times. Man, I don't feel comfortable hitting that next note. Yeah, forget about that song. Sorry, man.
All right.